Alright, get everybody's attention. So, we're gonna get started. Welcome everybody. We have a few special guests with us tonight. That's joining us. We have Mr. Calvin Morgan, one of our city councilors. Then we have our mayor, Mr. Kenny Cost, and then we have Mr. David Morgan in the back that is running for a position in the Alabama State House.
It's a sign, right?
Yeah, State House. All right. So, all right, to get this started off, we have been collecting HOA fees. The deadline was the 31st before late fees started occurring. And for those who have not paid at this point, there is a $50 late fee that's added to that as of this point. So if you are continuing to pay now, make sure you add the $50 late fee before you bring me up payment or before you mail it in. Do not mail it in without the late fee. You will still get charged the late fee even on top of it. We're gonna put it, it'll be on your file. So make sure you get those in. And I did file a stack of liens this past week. I hated doing that, but I mean, didn't know what other route to go. And if most of you, some of you I know did go to the website and look and see, it was a hefty amount just off the few that we filed. We're talking about 230-some thousand roughly. And there is plenty more coming, trust me. It's way more than that. As we're coming through, just trying to make sure things are straight. But again, we do have more liens coming. If you got a lien, you do got to realize that lien consists of HOA fees, the admin fees for our bookkeeper, and also attorney fees on top of it. So it can, if you don't take care of it, it can get very expensive very fast. Interest is no joke when it comes to that. So let's try to get those taken care of. If you want to know if you got a lien, all you got to do is go to, what is it? You know what it was? Go to look at ShelbyAL.com. You can go there and check and see if you got a lien. If you hadn't paid, most likely you're getting one if you hadn't already got it. So, let's see. I've been working on something also lately, trying to work on getting some grant situations for the neighborhood. One of our council members, he's not here tonight, but he lives in our neighborhood. He sent me some stuff over to start helping out with some of the things we do in the neighborhood for his events and stuff like that. We can apply for certain grants, but in order, these guys this now, in order to get those grants, I know sometimes we get fussed at, why do we let everybody in our events? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? Well, in order to get those grants, that is one of the criteria in the grant qualification. It has to be open to the public. It cannot be closed to get those grants. So we're going to do what we have to try to achieve Waterford in getting those grants, because those grants can really help out huge in the neighborhood when we do that.
I know that Carol and I brought this up before, but you would not believe the number of people who have come up to us and said, hey, we were at your 4th of July event, hey, we were at your Halloween something, whatever, and we fell in love with the neighborhood, the HOA, and we actually bought a house here because of that. So it does help.
Yes, absolutely. One good thing to share as we're looking at stuff, I know this may, some of you may not seem like a huge deal, but me looking at it from the years I've been on the board, from going through, we are literally now within about 2 years of our clubhouse being paid for, which that is a sword that's been on us for years with this loan that we probably should have never had. So with that being said, most neighborhoods, or I don't know any actually, that actually have a mortgage on their clubhouse or their pools or anything like that. So you can look at some of those neighborhoods and see, you know, their savings in their banks is going to be higher than what Waterford is, because Waterford expense is out more than most of these neighborhoods around here, because one, we're larger, we have larger things, more amenities than pretty much any neighborhood around this area. And we, of course, as most of you know, we have the largest pool in the state, which we cannot operate without lifeguards per the state. So that takes a huge undertone of us, literally of $100-some thousand a year in pool expenses because, you know, with the chemicals for a pool that size, like I said, for our laborers, for pumps that go out all the time, just so much in expenses goes to it. And we try to keep that running, you know, as much as possible. And when it goes down, we try not to let it stay down no more than a day to get you guys back in it. So again, that's one of the things we look at, you know, when we're doing stuff like that. And it was kind of interesting because Kyle McDonald actually did a Facebook kind of survey thing a few months ago, asking like what was fees around just the clear area and HOAs and what do they get for those HOA fees and all of that. But you can look at it it's on the clear page, Facebook page, that DO, whatever that clear one is anyway. It's on there, you can look at it, and it's kind of interesting that the comments and the pricing that a lot of these other neighborhoods pay and don't really have much of anything. So Waterford, we are blessed. I mean, and again, we have problems like any other neighborhood, guys. We are not above, like, you know, a few months back, there was a little shooting incident in here. Nobody was in danger for it, but again, you know, when that stuff like that happens, people go to Facebook and go crazy. Oh, we live in the ghetto, we got this. This stuff happens everywhere. I mean, we just had incidents in Pelham, you have them in Hoover, you have them all over. So problems can occur anywhere. That does not make us have a bad neighborhood, does not make us ghetto because of those issues. Again, we have a lot of violation issues from time to time. You know, street parking in the grass, not cutting grass, all of that kind of stuff. But again, if you go to any subdivision, you're going to see those same issues. Matter of fact, Mr. Calvin Morgan, he's on his board in his subdivision, and he'll tell you they have the same issues we tackle over here. It's not just us. I'm sure Mr. Kenny here, they probably get complaints with the city of different stuff that just drives them nuts as well. But everybody tries to work and fix the issues the best they can. And as y'all know and we know, it doesn't matter how hard you push people on certain issues. Some are going to comply and some are not going to comply. That's just the way of life. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But again, that's where fines and stuff come in at, where we compile these fines onto your address, and whether you pay it now or not, eventually you will. You can never sell your house till those fines are paid. So again, don't let it keep slipping, because those fines on properties actually add up as well. It keeps going up every time it's not paid, and come back around and it's still that way, you're still going to get a fine. It's just going to keep rolling. A lot of them are right, honestly, in violations are just warnings. A lot of you guys do comply and fix the issues with no issues, and I mean, I get backlash on some, which I mean, I know that goes with the territory. And just so you guys know, I don't pick on nobody for no fines. Literally, when I send them out, I'm just riding, look at the mailbox, write the address down, and keep rolling. My other guys do the same thing. They'll ride, they'll bring them back to me, I sign off on them. I don't look at who owns that address, none of that kind of stuff, I can promise you. I've even written Sherry, and she's on our board, I've written her a violation before her house, and you know, she called me up and said, did you realize? Yeah. But I don't play favoritism, can't play favoritism. I've even written up properties that I cut in Waterford myself. I've written them up, and one lady called me up and chewed me out, was like, how the heck you gonna give me a fine when you want to do my property? Well, it's not cut, I still gotta give you a fine. So just know, I don't play favoritism, I do it equal across the board. Again, so that, and then, okay, now we've had a few issues again with, you know, dogs pooping in people's yards, loud neighbors, like I said, again, I named parking on the street, parking in the yard, jump around the yards. Then one issue that I'm not gonna really get too deep into, because I'm not gonna stir this one like that, but I see the Facebook post about sex offenders moving in the neighborhood. People saying the HOA needs to stop that. Well, guys, the HOA can't control if a sex offender move in the neighborhood. We have no authority to do anything about that. So just so you guys know, we can't deal with it. As long as they follow whatever guidelines they're supposed to follow, that's between them and the police department. And if they don't follow it, they will be taken in.
So, I'm sorry, so we can't like discriminate against sex offenders and pass a law that they can't move in here?
No.
Okay, I just want to clarify. Just want to ask. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I got it, well, you know, some of us live on the street that, does have contacts, houses up that move in. And actually, we got a card today from the city, I all the bills did, that is a Bubbles card, and on the back, it tells all the information about that person.
Yeah.
And it says, and then it tells you on the front, like, morning things to do, and that kind of stuff, so they're letting you know in advance.
Yeah.
You kind of look out for those things.
Yeah, I mean, if you see something that don't look right with them being there, I mean, you can always notify the police department and just let them know. But I'm just letting you guys know, like, as an HOA standpoint, we can't physically go and remove anybody like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, I got before this morning, from another neighbor's dog. You know, say this guy is a repeat offender. He does have two big dogs. They say they do poop in a new neighbor's yard. You know, I mean, and it has been put back in his yard before. You know, what is the HOA's? What can the HOA do if that young lady reports that to the HOA? What is your stance? What would you do?
Okay. I can't do anything literally technical about dog poop, but I have gone above and beyond. If somebody reports to me about a neighbor and they know which neighbor's coming from, I have written them a letter of calling, knocking on their door and says, hey, we're having a problem with your dog pooping on the neighbor's yard and stuff like that. And most of the ones I've done that to have corrected the issue, but again, some just not gonna comply with that. Mr. Kenny, do you know what would that fall under a city ordinance of some kind, maybe, or no, do you know?
Well, I don't know that we have an ordinance just on the dog poop, but we do have a dog leash ordinance, that the dogs has to be on the leash.
Okay.
You know, so that's in our ordinance, so,
Okay.
you know, they shouldn't be just running wild.
Right.
So, they should be on the leash.
Well, actually, that's gonna fall within the civil
Civil
case between those two individuals. Yeah. They have to file, they would have to file charges.
Right, so
Through
the
the
neighbor,
court.
the person, the newcomer and everything would handle that with the neighbor.
Whomever the two that's involved, the house and the dog, whoever
Okay,
the dog.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Pooper is a pooper.
Right, well, I handled it at my house, so it's good. It's return to the rightful owner. Real easy.
When I put my dog a lot around the lane, my dog's always leashed, and there's times when dogs are not leashed, and a lot of times the dogs don't have good recall, and my dog's not always nice, but my dog is leashed.
Yeah.
But the dogs just run up, like, what can I do in that situation? Like, after the fact, obviously right then the dogs will be off leash, but what do I do?
There's an attacking you. You saying it's like another dog attacking?
Bring it up to her dog.
You
Like
guys-
trying to run up to my dog, and then they'll try to call the dog back, and then they don't listen.
Do you know where the dogs belong to? Do you know which house or which person it comes
You know, it's always around the lake. That's the thing, so it's like, what,
I'll make a mention of that.
Please.
On the next post.
yeah.
Also,
That could be done.
like the mayor just said, that's a city ordinance, so if you
Right.
can figure out which house it is, you can't report them to that.
Yeah, and we have friends who also walk down here, and their dogs are leashed, and one of their dogs was attacked multiple times by the same dog. Makes them not want to come back now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because her dog is now like scared to death.
Right.
So, I just wanted to bring it up just because it is, I'm now finding out it's in city ordinance.
Yes. Thank you.
So if the dogs is loose, you need to contact the city street department. They the ones handles, the dogs. So they would come out and tell them the address, excuse me, they'd come out and look at it and see if they could pick the dog up. So if they pick the dog up, they're gonna put him in pound, you know, so, when you call them, just remember, it could be
Yeah.
your friend's pet too, so.
Yeah.
But they will come and pick them up if they
I
can
don't
get
want that, I just want them to be on foot.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
agree.
it's their pet, but like.
Yeah, I agree. All right, also, there's been, a little mention of some, barn animals in the neighborhood. You cannot own, and this is actually a city ordinance, farm animals cannot be in the city limits in a subdivision. Whether it's chickens, goats, cows, pigs, any of that. Yeah, and this house probably knows who it is, but actually I don't know exactly which house it is, but I've heard of two in here that actually has them, which I will address, that very soon. But again, no farm animals are allowed in the neighborhood, so if you have those, they need to be removed ASAP. And then we had the police department come out and put the little speed detection device out. And as most of you know, as any other rules in the subdivision, a lot of things are not followed. I go out behind people that just run wide open through it in the flashing red and blue because they're well over the speed limit and they don't even check up and count. So again, that device is to kind of give you a warning of your speed in here because we do have a lot of speeders throughout all the sections. Guys, it's very important to obey the speed because a child is going to jump out there and get hit one day and it's not going to be good for the person who hit them. I mean, so again, let's start trying to follow the speed limit. I mean, it only takes you a few seconds to get out of the neighborhood to get on the 70. You can drive 20 to 25 through the subdivision and get out in a reasonable time. And also, I've gotten complaints from a couple of bus drivers have reached out to me where every morning people are running the stop sign of the buses. And they need to stop it because if you get caught, that's going to be some serious fines. But again, let's not run the stop signs. That's very dangerous for our kids. You don't know which side of the bus they're coming around or going to. So stop doing that.
Even just in general.
Yes.
people are-
So here's my rule, don't drive faster than a golf cart can go.
But I don't know, my God, I'm just saying this, so I can move pretty fast now, so I don't know. But I get what you're saying, though, yeah. Yeah. All right, and then, and like I said, guys, we get a lot of, let's say
We get that speed thing down water,
get them to move it down.
on water.
I'll reach out to them and see if they'll move it down.
We, well, there's a couple of them take
Yeah,
back.
yeah. A lot of them don't even stop coming out of the four ways. They just roll straight through. I've watched it. Me and the guys out there cutting. I can't tell you how many times I have to yell at the guys to move real fast because we almost get hit. It's serious. Again, guys, a lot of times when we do stuff, again, like I said, I don't want nobody to think that the HOA is mean or we don't listen to you guys for stuff. But you know, we get so many calls, so many complaints in so many different areas. We try to handle everything in a quarter minute. I mean, like I said, again, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. I mean, I've written violation letters and somehow they end up in the wrong mailboxes. And I explained to them, hey, this trash is not your address on it, trash it. I'll rewrite it and give me the address. But again, if you feel like there's one in the area, when you get it, just reach out to me. We can talk about it. But it's no reason for anybody to get upset with me. Again, like I said, I don't try to write anything to anybody harsh or anything like that. We really try to work with people the best we can. Again, and then some of the violations you guys got to realize that I give is if a neighbor besides you complain about something enough times, then I will come out and look and see what they complain about and write the violations for those things as well. I mean, so, but again, we don't try to do this to be mean to anybody, nothing like that. And then we've accomplished a lot of stuff this past year. With being under in funds this past year, we managed to make it through and still accomplish a lot of stuff. I mean, as y'all know, this past year we had quite a bit of vandalism that cost a lot of money. The tennis court was vandalized, the playground and the fence over there was tore down. We did get all of that pressure wash cleaned back off. Tennis court was repainted, redone, looked very good. Like I said, we improving on the parkway some more this year. We got a lot more in store planned. We hoping with these liens that we will get some money, and we got some really good ideas of more improvement. We took out a lot of the dead stuff at the front a few weeks ago. A lot of the dead shrubs, and put some new stuff in, trying to really make that thing pop. And eventually, I got the tree guy coming probably in about a week. We're gonna go back through the big hedges on the top and get the trees that starting to grow back up in them again. He's gonna come clear those out once again. But again, it takes money to do stuff. So I know some want to see this happen, some want to see that happen, some want to see that happen. What we try to do is take and float a little bit to every area to try to satisfy pretty much something in every area that everybody wants to see happen. Again, but we do have to be honest, like a lot of it, we do have to save in pool expense, because again, we have to have those lifeguards. So a lot of money does get floated to the pool, unfortunately. Even though I know some say, well, I don't swim, so I'm going to swim. Well, it's an investment that we have to take on. Again, like I said, the landscape, we do got a lot of great ideas. We're planning on taking all of the, each entrance to each section, all of those shrubs in there. We're planning on actually removing all of that stuff, and we're gonna put low maintenance stuff in to kind of give each section a new pop coming in as well. I'm going to take one question back here right quick. Go ahead.
I just want to say a huge shout out to the HOA for the entrance. It looks absolutely amazing. We lived here 2.5 years, and it's like, this is the best it's ever looked. So huge thank you. Everybody's noticing it and talking about it, so thank you.
And we're working on the fountains as well. We still got a few little glitches in it, but we are close. I don't know, I ain't give an exact date of nothing because we don't know yet, but it's coming along. We getting all the leaks and kinks worked out of it. It was honestly, it would have probably already been done, but it was a poor design from the way the water flows over and the trough that it goes to. It's so close and so narrow. When the water comes over the fall, it splashes a lot of the water out. You literally almost have to fill it up daily in order to keep it running. So we're trying to figure out some kind of process to make the water flow better, where it actually drops all of the water back into the pond. Once we get that figured out, then we should have them on running full time at that point. But that is in the process. We're still working on those. And we've had a lot of electric issues with doing this subdivision. It was old stuff was put in the ground and no conduit. So wires are dry rotting on the ground, and we had to chase leads down left and right to get them fixed. But again, we get them slowly but surely. What else was it? We're working on the alleys coming up as well in the village. Now, to be clear, the alleys do not belong to the HOA. The alleys belong to the homeowner. The HOA is trying to eat some of that cost by going through and fixing some of the worst ones. We can't fix every single hole, but we fixed a few this past year, some of the really big ones that was tearing cars up. And we do plan on working on a few more this year as we get more funds in. But again, don't expect the HOA the HOA got to do it, because it's not the HOA responsibility, to be honest. It's the homeowners. We're just trying to help out because they are bad. Everybody uses them. But we also need people with the big trucks and vans and stuff to stop bringing them in the neighborhood, because those are a lot of the problem the reason they're getting towed up. So let's try to control that. Yes, Mr.
Could you give us all an update on the condition of the pool? We know that it needs resurfacing.
Yes.
And people need to, it's my opinion, people need to know what financially we're looking at there and an estimated time frame.
Well, financially, to get the pool fixed properly the way it's going to be, it's a little over $100,000. And with that being said, again, like I said, I don't want to count the chicken before they hatch. But with the point I brought up about we are this close to the clubhouse being paid off finally after all these years, that will free up so much income in a year that once that clubhouse is taken care of, we believe at that point, the pool can get not just patchwork, it can get the full resurfacing that it needs to be proper.
Cause it's
Yeah,
such a
we
huge,
Yeah.
too, don't we?
Yeah.
it's such a huge undertaking, they'll have to do it in 3 stages,
Yeah.
they have to do it in 30
It,
different.
yeah, he already told me that it's so big because of the size of it, they would have to do it in portions. But that is on the agenda plan, the pool company already has it on their radar that what they doing, the time frame they're gonna do it in roughly,
So like 2 years or
Yes.
more.
probably more than 2 years. And again, it may be less than that. If this lien situation works out, we could see that before then. Is what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping. But anyway, that's about, I think, all I had on that. Did you have anything, Sherry? Mr. Calvin, I'm gonna let him. Thank you.
I've got a few questions. Why haven't we been having more regular stated meetings? I mean, it seems like we haven't had a meeting in, I couldn't tell you how long. And if we have one and it gets canceled right before we have it.
Yeah, we've had one
Some of us travel for work. I mean, I try to make plans to be home on those nights we're gonna have a meeting. And if they're canceled, then it's very frustrating.
We had
Yeah.
one right before the election because all of you came and spoke.
We didn't actually have that meeting, it was canceled at the end, and it's on video that Turtle canceled it.
Oh, okay, thank you so much.
It was the, y'all, it was when, what day was that? That was, no, that was in May, June, May, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was, but yeah, y'all came to that one.
How often is this to happen?
Actually, according to the bylaws and covenants, you only have to have one meeting a year. And listen, previous board, and I guess we did this to ourselves because the previous boards didn't have meetings that often. I've been there 14 years and I can tell you, I've been to every meeting since I've been here. And the previous board did not have hardly any meetings. We chose as a board, we came in to do them quarterly. And I've been on 9 years. So we started that when we was having them almost every 2 months. Well, this past year, yes, we did not have a lot of meetings this past year simply for the fact that, to be honest with you, I had a lot of health issues going on. And at this point, I had to step back for a second to chill with my health issues. But this year going forward, we do plan on trying to get them back on that schedule of quarterly like we was doing. But again, the bylaws covered, you take them out, have one. But we will make sure we try to start doing more again, going forward.
Hey, Drew, just a question. You mentioned earlier about you doing a lot of work out front, which is noticeable. There's been some work happening, good, bad, or different. And you want to make some changes to the entrances as you go to each of these locations. Is there any renderings that put together? Is this just your idea or somebody else's idea of what you think the neighborhoods would want to see?
Well, we kind of figure out what needs to be done. We listen to people on Facebook when they talking, saying this, and we kind of put that.
Is this Facebook, is this open to the public?
It's open to residents.
And there, so if you're a resident, you should have access?
Yes.
Okay. We'll sort of on that one as well. All right, so you're taking association feedback, and you're taking information from residents on what they would like. I'm just curious if that information is kind of shared publicly so we know what to expect or be able to provide some insight. So interested to hear that there is a place to land that. It was aware it was on a Facebook site.
Yeah.
Are we talking about our regular Facebook group or?
There you go.
One
Yeah, I mean, are there?
One that I know.
I think there's just one. There's one thing. There's like a yard sale.
I know there's one that I was able to find, and there's another one that I'm not able to join because no one has accepted it yet. So that's why, again, I don't know what that
Those
looks
are
like.
checked, if you're talking about the
Yeah.
one that's like Waterford Village, townhomes, whatever, that's checked daily, and if you weren't accepted, it's because you didn't put in your address, or you didn't agree to the rules, and it was rejected.
Well, I did, I have to.
I mean, all I'm saying is just from that standpoint, again, just a concerned voter, et cetera. Put that into something maybe on these documents, like a link to it, so we can know exactly which one to go to. And then from understanding how to submit and accept, not an issue, but I don't know that it's truly as uploadable as it seems. And so I've tried it a time or two from multiple accounts and not able to get in. And so just to know that there's a place to put some input, it's all over for us, you know. Yeah.
Oh, mine, I
Well, like, I'm not an admin on that stuff, guys, so I don't know how that works, I don't look at, I don't know how to, I don't know how it goes in that stuff.
You're in that seat, so.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
The other thing I want to bring up is the last time we had a meeting, or I guess the last official meeting was over a year ago, we brought up some things that were going on our street, and nothing has changed in a year. We've still got people with filthy, nasty yards, garbage in front of their houses, broken glass in the front of their houses. I mean, people are even covering their windows with bed sheets. And I mean, it's just out of hand. So I didn't know if there was a plan to, or if you had conversations with people on our street to.
She has, I turn in these violations to her, and the fines and stuff, they go on, she puts them in the book, and the fines are going on them. Again, like I said, we can't physically go in those people's yards and do anything.
I get that.
And all the HOA can do literally is just keep writing the fines. I mean, and they give them whether they think they are or not. Now, as far as the sheets in the window, I can't write a fine for somebody using the sheet as a curtain. They could sue me big time for that.
Yep.
So I won't even step on that one. But as far as grass, junk in the yard, all that kind of stuff, what you're talking about, absolutely. They get the fines. And they're gonna keep rolling until they fix it.
Hey, I had a situation with a neighbor with sheets on the windows, and I offered them a pair of curtains that I had. And they accepted the price. They went up. That's wonderful.
Well, I'll give you their address and maybe you got some
No,
more.
no. I don't have any more, but it's an idea.
All right, I'm gonna let Mr. Calvin here kind of give y'all a little update on what's going on in the city, and what's new, what's maybe projected, the plans to go on.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say thank you guys for the invite, to get a chance to come out and see you guys and kind of hear what's going on in your neighborhood. From a city standpoint, we're definitely interested in, the things that are going on in your community as well as the other communities throughout the city. But I would like to say, wherever I go and whatever I do, I have to give honor to God for allowing me the opportunity. And I do consider it a blessing to be able to be here. As the mayor is sitting here with me, the city is changing fast. There are some things that when the mayor and I was elected on the city council 6 years ago, that we are working on, and it's not an easy process. It's not, it's serving, and believe me, we're doing our best to serve you guys in our city. It may not seem like it. There may be times when you don't see a lot of progress, but trust me, we are working for you, for the best. We may not get it right all the time. We never claim to. But one thing that I will say is this: we're putting our heart in what we do, and serving for the city. So anytime you guys see me or Mayor, he can speak for himself, but just know that we are working, and he's going to explain to you some of the things that is taking place within the city. We just went on a trip to Washington, and the mayor, he'll update you on that. But one of the things I do want to piggyback on is what your chairperson was saying. The city is looking into the 250-year celebration. He was referring to the grant. Well, I was at that conference, and one of the things that's the funding for those grants are there, the money, but they wanted to make it a community. It's not just, if you get this grant money, it's going to have to be used for everybody. And a lot of the the members there, they were sharing with us that what they've done, they came together and they're coming together with different communities. And they're forming and having a big, I mean, it's a big celebration coming this summer, but throughout this year. It's not just through the summer month, but that's one thing. As you were speaking about safety within the community. We have it, I live in Camden Cove. We have the same issues you guys have. I talk to members here and throughout in other communities, and how do you do this? The same issues, the same questions that you guys are having, we have that same thing. And the issue with the dogs, the food, the vandalism, all of that, we're dealing with that too. So, you know, as far as that and the city, like I said, just know that we're doing our best for you guys. We love serving you guys, and we thank you for an opportunity.
I didn't quite catch that. Could you please say that again?
You gotta say it again. I gotta say it again. So, I don't know, is there any question I can try my best to answer? If someone has something for me that you would like for me to try to answer? Yes, ma'am.
You said the city is changing. Can you give specific examples?
Well, I'm going to let the mayor, because I don't want to jump in front of him, and he's going to explain to you some of the changes that he would like to share with you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't I read that the city taxes, the taxes were on groceries or something, or not on groceries, or something else, there's 1% tax that might be affected this area?
Yes, ma'am.
I think
Yes,
I'll bring it
ma'am.
to 10, just what everybody else.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
not on groceries or gas, it's on other things.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Anyone else?
Before the mayor jumps in here, I want to go back to what Calvin Morgan said, like again, like I said, guys, well, you know, like I said, again, we stress this because we don't take it lightly. When I say we do hear y'all concerns, we do hear the complaints, we do hear all of that, we really do. And like he said, it's not just here. I've reached out to a number of the HOAs in the community. I do that from time to time. I reach out and talk to some of the presidents from the other subdivisions and say, hey, what are y'all dealing with this? I feel like we probably, as a community in the past several years, but among HOAs here before, which really never talked to each other, we actually do communicate with each other and piggyback on each other and try to work together, not as just Waterford, but we try to work together as what he said, a community, a city, because it's not just about Waterford, to be honest. I know some wanted to be that way, but that's not what builds a community. A community is what all of Clear. Clear is the community. I mean, whether it's on the street level or whether it's on a city level, we all try to find ways to mend together and work together on certain issues and things. I mean, as far as even, I talked with the council, I've talked to the mayor on several things. We've talked, I even talked with the police chief from time to time. We talk about issues that nobody ever know we talk about, because I'll call them on certain things to try to get insight on something, because again, we do want the best for you guys. We do want to make sure Waterford is the safest it can be, and when there is valuable, important information going on, such as certain things or crimes, I would reach out and say, is this anything we need to be concerned about? And he would tell me yes or no if it was, and we try to convey that back to the community as much as possible. We really do try to be active, and I'm not this type of person that you'll see on Facebook. I don't post a lot of stuff. I really don't. That's not me. I'm not computer savvy. I don't care to be on that much. But I do try to post important stuff to you guys. Things that maybe events that's going on, maybe different things that affect. Like I'll try to post those things because I do want you to be informed if I feel like it's something important. But if I'm on there just posting every single day, just random stupid stuff, that kind of gets shuffled. Oh, he just another post me, just another post me. It's all going to get shuffled, and you're really not going to pay attention to the important stuff when it does come up, because then people be like, well, I missed this, what was this at, what was this at? It was on there, go back and forth, you know, so again, we work together as a community, as a city, and we plan to continue to do that. And we have ideas of things we want to continue to go forward with to help you guys. We just hope you guys will trust the process, and we will keep you updated on those things as they come along. Sometimes we just can't say stuff up front because, as we all know, if you give certain things up front, you know, you have to the fire with it. You got to do that right now because you said you was going to do it now. And I don't want that. You know, that's why I try to hold certain things till I know I'm at that release point to say, okay, now we can release this because this is closer to that goal to where we know it can happen. I don't want to give false hope or false promise on anything in here intentionally. If I tell you something, it's honestly true because I believe it, because I love my community. I know they love this community. These guys love this community. They will show up for anything we call them for at any given time and say, what do you need? What do you need? We'll jump in. So, again, I'm going to turn it over to the mayor now, let him finish so we can wrap this up. I know some of you got to get home.
Okay, thank you. I'm Kenny Cost. I'm your mayor, so I was voted in at 85%. So, you know, 82% was a big thing for me to get out there and do. So I made the decision. Calvin was with me, he says, you can do it, Kenny. I said, yeah, but do I need to do this? And so I prayed about it, and the good Lord put me in this position. Why he put me in this position is for you. I'm for all of our citizens in this city. I'm a transparent person. I have a suggestion box that I put in at the city hall. If anybody's got a complaint or anybody's got something to say good about the city or anything, I want to see it, you know. So we went to work immediately as the council and the mayor. So we changed government, okay? We went to a different situation. We over 12,000 people, so we changed government. So we went from the mayor to the president of the council to the council. So my decision was that I want to work as a team for the city. So I chose to turn over each council member a liaison for different departments. We got a lot of employees in the city who have a lot of work. So this spreads out some of the work that they can go talk to the department heads and see if there's any needs, and they bring it to me. We sit down at the table and talk about what needs we've got to do. We make a decision and get it done. So that's one big thing we started right in November. So I'm going to take y'all down the roadmap for the first 6 months of what we've accomplished in this city. I know I'm ready to see a lot of things get accomplished, and we've been working real hard. So one thing is we went to bat for the bridge downtown, or 25 over the, right there at 25 and the Coffers where they got it to go up to the interstate to exit 228. So we was engaged already with an architect and engineering firm. So they around 35% complete on the drawing. So as we've been progressing, so we've been to Washington maybe a month ago. We went to Washington, the whole team went to Washington. I wanted every one of our council members to be a part of the trip at Washington. So we went through all the classes, and then we got to meet Katie Britt's team. So I invited Katie Britt's team to the city hall, and when she came down, she gave me some good things on how to go about getting some funding for this bridge. So when she gave it to me, we applied for a $5 million grant from Katie Britt. So that's in the makings. So we've got awarded $11.7 million grant for the railroad from the Federal Railroad Association. So then we kept bumping around in Washington. We talked to Gary Palmer. We talked to Tuberville and things about what can we do to speed the process up of the transportation department in the state. that things just don't move fast. You know, we gotta move, our citizens need to be able to move around in our city. And also, we have a lot of plants with trucks and stuff that's got to go on, deliveries that wastes hours and it costs them money. So, we move on with the next, step. So, Calvin and I, met with, Director Cooper. He's the director of all of the state all-dot funds. So we got a meeting set up with him. Calvin and I went in the meeting and we sat there and talked with him about the bridge plus our engineering firm. So when we got through talking, I said, well, look, I pushed my chair back. I said, I'm here for some money. What can y'all do to help us? I'm not here just to look at the engineering part of it, but what are you going to do for the city of Cleveland? Director says, I'll give you $10 million, verbally give you $10 million for that bridge. I said, well, that's what I come here for. I need some help for our citizens. So there's a $10 million deal. So we keep talking. He leads me down the road to the next person. So Metropolitan Organization, which is your transportation group out of Birmingham, all over the state of Alabama. So asked the invite for them to come to the city hall. When they come to the city hall, the invite, they agreed to be verbally for $4 million. And then they agreed verbally for another $2 million for the walkway and bike path crossing over. So we're trying to get a pathway, our disabled can't even get across the railroad tracks, and it's been a problem. So total right here now is $27.7 billion that went out there and worked hard trying to get. That's the work that a lot of people doesn't see. That your city officials has got to go after the money. I don't think we've been going after the money. And that's my job, to look after you. I do have a couple more aces in the hole. So we're looking at a $32 to a $40 million project. It's a big project. So I'm waiting on a little bit more money to come in, but we are moving forward. Our city spent $500,000 on engineering at this point to move it. So we spent a lot of money. So that kind of covers the bridge. So I'm going to take you up to exit 228, the next exit. So we got $1 million grant for a red light turning lane going north. So we're waiting on AllDOT again. They want the turning lane where the old motel comes out too close to the exit. So they got to buy some property around to the left of it to get us able to move on with this. So they in the process now of purchasing the property. So you'll be seeing some activity there at exit 228. I'll ask for some money for lighting. Exit 228 is the darkest exit in the state of Alabama. Hadn't got it yet, but we're gonna get it. The other one is downtown. $1 million grant for streetscape, widening the sidewalks, greenery, everything changing downtown. So quite a bit of work in 6 months' time has hit the plate. Down at the Oliver Park, we just put in 6 new pickleball courts. We put in 2 tennis courts, we fixed to put the final 2 in. So also we moved up to Rolling Hills. At Rolling Hills, we put in 3 new pickleball courts, lighting system. We tore down the old motel. We tore down some other buildings over there. So, yeah, in 6 months' time, we've accomplished a lot. Now, I'm ready for the big thing. So, I'm ready for some retail businesses in here, some shops. So, Calvin and I and one of our other IT guys is going to Las Vegas a couple of weeks. So we're going to be looking and talking to retail shoppers and commercial people coming here for jobs to see what we can do. We've been trying to get restaurants, we're trying to get jobs in the city. It's gonna happen. So we're looking at this exit here where the Walmart exit is here. On the other side, the city spent some money for a comprehensive plan just on that exit. All of that in there. Retail, motel, shopping, and housing. And the same thing at the next exit. The one at the exit 228 is way ahead of this exit here. So in the next year and a half, I think you're gonna see a big change in the city. But the major change in the city that I see today, and I know there's some people sitting in this audience, that our city has come together as a team. We were separated. We're together today. And that's what it takes to make everybody happy, everybody smile. We have downtown First Fridays. I'd love to see y'all there. I try to make everything I can. We have a Strawberry Festival Saturday from 12 to 5. It's going to be at the track facility at Eagle Park. So we changed it from where it has been. It's gone down past the school there. So maybe the weather will leave us alone, but to let you know, we've been working and I love it. And anything I can do to help y'all, phone call to City Hall, I will call you back. So that's the transparency that I've been given. I know some of the people in here. I met a young lady that's in the back. She come to me and we sat and talked. She's a writer, and what a good team to come to that what she's doing. So every day I go home, my wife's here. She documents everything I do for the city every day. So when we get through in 4 years, I want to show you what we do. So just thank you for letting me come and talk to you. I love giving you an update. I should give you an update quarterly or every 6 months. I give updates at the City Hall every 2 weeks. Come and join us at the first and third Monday of every month. So thank y'all very much.
Mention to them about the light on 70 and 42.
Okay,
And
yeah.
also about the City Hall gonna be lit up for the 20.
One thing I need to tell you, 70 and 42 light. We're waiting on the materials to come in to put that there. So it's already approved, we're waiting on the materials.
Do you have an ETA on the material?
Should be, but November and December it should be in. Too long, it's too long. Same thing at the City Hall, 16, always 16 and 31. We've got a lot there. So that's where we're at. I got a lady in the back.
One thing I wanted to compliment the mayor on. I am a writer, I'm also a DAB auxiliary, and that's disabled veterans. I have to compliment you because you are in the process of working on a grant to help to build a building, and that's going to assist the veterans and also all senior citizens. And the DAB and the state and the country, because I am with the government affiliated. And it does go forward. And I want to thank you so much. So keep it up.
I'm going to give you a little update on what she's talking about. So we applied for a $60,000 grant from T-Mobile, and it's for veterans. So we started, this is something Calvin and I, when we first come into council, we've been wanting to do. Finally, we got a little grip, we could do it. So behind the library, we've got a Veterans Park area there now. It's lit up. You can see the little string lights. That's our Veterans Park. We put some flags there. We also got a plane donated to us from Birmingham. And we're looking now at getting a pedestal that's going to sit on. And then we're going to bring it down and sit it there. We already have the plans laid out behind the library for our Veterans Park area there. So that's a project, and thank you for reminding me of it. That's one of the projects that we got coming ahead. So we already spent some money there, but we got a little bit left. We're going to use some of that money for transportation to get that money when we get our hands on it. So our veterans is number one. So we did, American Legion, has come to Cleary. So they behind, the community center. So they come to me, want to be a part of Cleary. So we opened that up for the veterans. And also the women too. They got their own association, and that's where they meet there too. So that's some good stuff for the city that we've been missing. So what else was it, Calvin? So the 250th celebration, we're gonna try to light our city up. We did get a $2,500 grant awarded to us, and it has to go for the fireworks. So the fireworks there, that's what we got the money for. So we put in, so we're gonna light our city hall up, red, white, and blue, try to light all our facilities. So we're going at it big time. So on July the 3rd is when we're gonna have our event downtown for the 250th celebration. So it's all over the United States that people's doing this. This is a big thing.
You said July 3rd?
July the 3rd is when we're gonna celebrate Oliver. We're gonna start, our decorations is gonna start the 1st of June. So we're gonna start our decorations.
And a parade.
So it's coming. So anybody got any questions?
I just had an infrastructure question, and I know that it doesn't fall wholly on the municipality, but Highway 31, before they started on the interstate, there was talk from AlDOT about them widening Highway 31 from Calera to Alabaster, and it sounded like it was gonna happen before the interstate, and I know that this is stuff that happened before you were in office, but I'm just curious if you have any kind of update on that, or even if we might have some point where we get a longer turn lane from Highway 31 to 70, because I think all of us have probably sat in that traffic that backs all the way up to, what is that, 26 in Alabaster, because it's so bad from trying to get home that's one reason that I don't make it into town to spend money, if I do have money to spend, is because I already sit in the traffic to get home, so I'm gonna go.
I can answer the question to a certain point of this. When I met with Katie Britt's team at the City Hall, I did apply for an $18 million grant for widening the 31. And the widening was from where it goes from four lanes in town to 2 lanes and coming north till we get up there. So I applied for the grant. So, you know, they won't award their grants till January.
So was there not though already, because I feel like AlDOT was the one that published something years ago about widening. Do you remember? You're shaking your head.
I remember seeing that.
It was
They
right
might
before
have,
they started paving, and I think a lot of us thought when they started the paving that they actually were widening.
Yeah.
And they ended up just paving and we were kind of disappointed.
If you get a chance, the state department, highway department, the building right there on the right,
Yeah.
if you get a chance, go in there and talk to the
I've got one of
director.
their numbers. I'll call.
Mr. Wallace is his name.
Yeah.
So we've applied, so to get us as far as we can go right now.
Right.
So the work that we've done has applied and we're trying. So, yes, sir.
Thank you for the parking lot over at Rolling Hills. It looks great. I was wondering, are there any plans to redo the floor in the gym?
We are talking about redoing the floor in the gym. We're trying to get some indoor pickleball up there. So I think it'll fall under this next budget time. We're fixing to start our budget procedures for this next year. So we're gonna get an early start at it. There have been talks that we need to redo our gym floor because it's slick. So we're looking at that. Also, I met today with YMCA, wanting to come to Rolling Hills, but I hadn't really got to the point that I really like what they got on the table, but I've got a drawing for a new senior center up there, plus indoor facilities for our citizens to go up there, walk indoor, exercise, and do things. So took it up to Calvin, seen the drawing. I've worked with an architect to try to get a drawing. He gave me a price of $9 million on what we got. So once I got the drawing, you know, they shut down the YMCA in Alabaster, so they come in and play. They met today about it like the setting that they want to do. But we have another boys and girls club that's in Montpelier that wants to come to Rolling Hills, and they in negotiation now with us, letting them come to Rolling Hills. We have like 28 people, kids that goes to Montebello Boys and Girls Club from Calera. So they want to come to Calera to help out where the parents can go to work and do things like that to keep the kids. So we talking to them too. So we got a lot of good things happening here in the city. It just takes a little time. One thing it takes is money. So thank y'all. I'm on.
I got one more guest here. I could let him, Mr. David Morgan wants to come up and speak to you guys for a second. Then we're gonna try to wrap it up. It's getting late.
Hey, I'm David Morgan. I live here in Calera. I live over in Timberline, and I'm running for state representative for District 41, which is mostly South Shelby County. It's a little over half of Shelby County total. I want to thank you for letting me come and speak, and thank you for taking the time. I know that you all want to get out of here. I have not had dinner yet. I want to get out of here too, so I'll try to be as brief as I can. I'd love to talk to each of you individually, and so if you have any questions, I'll stay after, and please feel free to reach out to me if you don't have time right now. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I live here in Calera. We've lived here for about 4.5 years. Me, my wife, and our 2 kids. I've got an 8-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. I have a career in public service. I was a 911 director. I was the executive director for the Pike County Communications District. And before that, I worked my way up to that position from a call taker at the Birmingham Police Department. Been able to do a lot of stuff that I'm really proud of. And I also spent some time at the Alabama Emergency Management Agency, where I was responsible for the training program across the state. Right now, I am a consultant. I'm a subject matter expert in infrastructure protection, which is a term that nobody's ever heard of. And basically what I do is I focus on making sure that infrastructure is safe from both the physical and cybersecurity standpoint, but also a resiliency standpoint, and I focus on telecommunications, my background in public safety dispatch. So basically what I try to do is I help public safety save money and be resilient so that they're there when we need them, right? But a little bit of expertise across the board in infrastructure. And I studied accounting at UAB. So what I'm running on, the crux of what I'm running on is that you should be heard. It's time for you to be heard. And I want to listen and bring your solutions and your problems to the State House and to our state laws. I am of the firm belief that in most cases, the people of Alabama are grown-ass adults, if you'll excuse me. And we know the problems that we face, and we know the solutions that we need. And a lot of the time, we just need the government to get off our backs. Sometimes we need solutions that they need to step in for, and every problem is different. There is not a one-size-fits-all problem, or a one-size-fits-all solution for every problem, right? And my experience in 911 and emergency management was in cash-strapped budgets and trying to make do with what we had and finding alternative solutions. An example that I thought of just a moment ago, we talked about traffic lights, and one of the big problems is traffic studies and the exorbitant cost that ALDOT charges for traffic studies, right? It's what, $40,000, something, right? And I'd like to point out that it's a lot cheaper if you just hire a teenager to sit there with a clicker for that entire time, right? It's stuff like that we can find solutions to problems. Stuff doesn't always have to be perfect if it meets the need. Government budgeting is about priorities. So I'm very thankful to be here. A lot of what I'm trying to do is transparency and meeting and talking to people. I'm really thankful for these gentlemen. We don't always agree on everything, but I am so pleased that they are on the council. I'm really happy that Kenny got elected. And the fact that they're here is a fantastic sign, right? That's how we build our community. That's how we engage. And the fact that they're here and they're answering questions, that's everything, right? And we don't have to get along on everything. When we work together on the things we do agree on, right? And that's the way that I've worked in my career, and almost all the time you can come to a common ground on something, and I don't necessarily need to compromise on that. I think I'm not a fan of compromise, right? I think there is a solution that just about everybody can agree on 9 times out of 10. I'm a firm believer in following the law, and I think that we have issues with that in this state. I have seen repeatedly the mentality of it's not a problem if we don't talk about it, right? And I think that's the way it used to work. But when it was working that way, somebody was actually doing something about it, and now nobody's doing something about it, right? I've seen a lot of issues in state government, and I'm not a fan of KIV because of the way that the government was being run while I worked for her, right? There were 3 people in between me and her when I was working at State UMA, and if you want to know more, I'm happy to talk to you about that. So what I would like to do is just take a couple of minutes and I have opinions and positions on a lot of things, but I don't want to waste your time. I know you guys want to get out of here, I do too, and if you guys just want to tell me what the most important issues are to you, I'd like to talk about them, and I'll just say that I am a subject matter expert in a tiny little narrow field of public safety telecommunications infrastructure, and for everything else, I've got to talk to other people, right? And so my campaign, my position as state representative, if you choose to elect me, I would be so honored, I would have to rely on you and experts to get any of that done, and that would be my commitment. I can't promise that I'm going to get any particular thing done, but what I can promise is that I will rely on the people that know, and I will listen consistently to the people with problems and people with solutions. What are the problems that you guys have? And do you guys feel like you're heard by your state representative now? Does anybody know who their state representative is right now? No? It's Corley Ellis. He's a real estate agent. His dad was, Butch Ellis was a state senator for a long time, and he won a special election running against no one in 2016, 2015, 2016, somewhere there. And I don't have a problem with Butch Ellis, or not, Corley Ellis. I don't think he's doing a good enough job for the problems that we have. I don't think he listens. I don't think he shows up, and that's what I'm trying to do. Problems, issues, what are the top issues? Electric bills. Anybody have a low electric bill?
Have you ever met a tax you didn't like?
Have I ever met a tax I didn't like?
Yeah.
I didn't like the sales tax that they passed last night.
That's what I was gonna ask about.
Yeah.
I kind of read about that a little bit.
Yeah.
It said it's good with the gas, but is it mainly for businesses or commercial?
So it's a sales tax. So we have a number of taxes, and this is one of the things I want to try to address, and I can't do it alone. I have to work with a lot of people to do it, but we have very confusing taxes in the state of Alabama and in the country. And I think the primary purpose of that from a political science standpoint is to obfuscate how much taxes we're paying. And so the gas tax and the sales tax and the use tax and the property tax, they're all different taxes, right? I think one of the big areas that affects is folks trying to start small businesses, folks trying to do hobby businesses, right? So this particular one is the sales tax. It's the sales and use tax, and then they also have one on rentals and limits, so for hotels. I think that also went up on their side. So,
Did I read somewhere that the grocery tax is only waived for a certain time?
So this one doesn't apply to the groceries. So the groceries stay down where they were. The state has they lowered the grocery tax to the state, and there's a big push that I am a supporter of and part of to eliminate the grocery tax entirely.
That's what I was, but I know I saw that she had signed something that was trying to do that, so the grocery tax.
And I'm also really proud of the county too. The reason, so 10% is the combined total of state, county, and city. And the city is able to do a 5% tax and still stay at that 10% because the county actually lowered the county sales tax. County is a beauty in fiscal responsibility. If you've never been, they're fantastic meetings too, and they walk you through everything that they're explain their reasoning on everything that they do. So.
I had a question. When was the last time the sales tax was raised?
You hear? It was when we did the bridge.
I want to say.
2013?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It puts us at 10%, which everybody else is.
When they went to build this new bridge, that raised from 8 to 9.
So it's probably due for.
Yeah.
So our sales tax won't affect your groceries, not affect your fuel.
Jesus,
It's just on purchases.
guys,
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think about auto?
A lot of, so I am for allowing gambling, legalizing gambling generally. But I don't want to fund the government on lottery, and there's two main reasons for that. One is that the lottery is addictive, and we have lots of studies about that, and we also have that it disproportionately affects the intellectually challenged more than folks who are just playing it for fun.
It's
right?
a regressive tax.
It is a very regressive tax, and the other thing is, what I've seen is a lot of incentives in government, and I've seen it even in myself as a executive director for an agency, is that if we tip the scales on something, we typically see that it starts leaning more and more that way. And the incentive that I see, the problem that I see, and I don't think anybody would ever do this on purpose, but the incentive I see is that the very people who are supposed to be teaching statistics will be the ones benefiting. And I just see a principal saying, let's not have a statistics class, or let's reduce the number of people in that class, right? And I would not expect anybody to do that on purpose, but it's the incentives, and you start to see that in various forms across the government, try to think that way, right? So I think we have a lot of other avenues that we can make money and provide the revenue. I think we have more of a spending problem than we have a revenue problem at the moment in Alabama, and I'd like to address that. And one of the things I'd like to do is for new businesses and corporations coming in, I'd like to give them non-financial incentives to help them come in, so that right now we're giving them 10, 20 years of no taxes while they're here, right? And then a lot of those places like Hyundai, the taxes we're getting are property taxes, employment taxes, but then those cars are being sold elsewhere, right? And so we're not getting the taxes on that. So I'd like to work with the legislature to try to find ways that we can tap the resources that are already in the state. I think there's a lot of industries that we can grow. I'm more concerned about the individual people and our well-being than I am the welfare of the government. I want the government to be able to take care of people. I want to fix public safety, but I want people to be able to start a small business. And I'm more worried about small businesses than I am, ultra international corporations. So, yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask about your feeling on the AI developments.
Just AI or AI data centers specifically?
AI data centers.
Okay. So, I'm a tech guy, right? I see very concerning issues with AI. I see 911 centers, back to my stomping grounds. I see 911 centers who are putting in AI answering for what they call non-emergency calls, which is what we call a 10-digit number instead of 911 directly. I know in my center, over half of the emergency calls came in on that number, and the idea of a machine answering that instead of a trained person is terrifying for me. A lot of, and maybe this is a little technical for some people, but a lot of the AI boom and the top 10 companies in the S&P right now are all based in AI, and they're all loaning each other money for continued development, right? And it's a big old bubble right now that is, I think, a noose on the neck of our nation's economy. And it's all based on this idea of Moore's Law, which is a concept from the 90s about developing new computer technology that would double every 18 months. We know that did not happen with microprocessors. It stopped. And a lot of the investment right now is banking on Moore's Law. It's not going to happen. And the AI development, the boost that we have right now in its capability is based on particular technological development that was done in the labs at Google, with A/B testing. There's some great papers on it, if you're a geek like me. So that's not, unless that happens again, it's not going to develop further. So what I'm really worried about with the AI data centers is not only the infrastructure that then the cost of that gets passed to us, and the legislature did pass a bill in this last session, I want to say SB 270, but don't quote me on that, is trying to address some of that for data centers that are over 150 megawatts. And like the Wilsonville and Bessemer ones are over a gigawatt. We have the electrical capacity for those. I'm worried about the environment where those facilities go. I'm worried about our water usage, and not so much the water usage, so much as the water temperature being returned, heated water back into the rivers and affecting the fish populations, right? But if we can address all of those, I'm fine with them doing it. But I don't think they're going to be in business in 5 years. So if they're going to do it, I want them to take out a huge bond that we all make bank when they go bankrupt. And have the money to take care of those buildings that are going to sit and empty.
Our biodiversity at this point is the best in the nation.
No, we're number 4.
I'm sorry.
Best.
So we're the number 1 in freshwater.
Yeah.
In
Right.
Is it the world or just the nation?
I think it's.
But our freshwater biodiversity is off the chart. I love Alabama. I'm an Eagle Scout. I have spent over 400 nights camping, and another one this last weekend with my kids. And I love Alabama. I love our outdoors. I think it's the most beautiful place in the world, at least to me. I love it so much. And we have amazing biodiversity. And in the last 50 years, we're number 2 in extinctions because we don't have the environmental protections. We don't have the ability to sue for those protections. My wife, she grew up in Blount County, and she was swimming in the Locust Fork River when she was a child, and Tyson Foods illegally dumped chicken waste into that water, and over a dozen kids, all under 8, all contracted major intestinal or gut issues. Their stomach shut down for months, and they stayed in the hospital. Tyson paid 0. They were never held to account. They still dumped that waste in the Locust Fork River. I used to work up there doing that one for a little while. You can take a fish and hold it at the output for 5 seconds and it dies. I have an issue with that, right? I know a little place that dumps lead in the woods, and as long as they keep donating to the sheriff, and who I love, but we've got a problem here. Not our sheriff, but we've got issues like that, and it's not okay because we all own the water, we all own the land, and it's not okay for a corporation to have their profit model be destroying our property. I'm also not okay with corporations where we've got laws now where it's a misdemeanor if the victim is a person and a felony if the victim is a corporation. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with corporations having benefits that people don't. I'm not okay with them being punished less for crimes and fraud than people are. And I think that we need to hold them to account. And they're a powerful engine that should be benefiting us and our economy, and not at our expense. All right,
Thank
so
you.
I'll be around. Thank you.
All right, and we're gonna let you guys get out of here. Thank you all for coming.